everybody. Today we're going to take a look at determining slope if we have been given 2 points. So you've looked at slope before, and that slope has been off of a graph where you've created a triangle to make your rise over your run. And so before, if you had these, let's say these 2 points, A at 2,6 and B at 4,12, you would have to go ahead and actually plot those points on your graph. So 2,6 is about there, and 4,12 is up here. And then you would draw your line in between them. And from there, you'd have to figure out your rise over your run in order to get your slope. And this is a really long process to have to plot points, graph them, draw your line, draw your triangle. And so today I want to show you the formula that we can use instead in order to figure out, sorry about that, in order to figure out what our slope is without having to do all that graphing. So this is our slope formula. It tells us that the slope between 2 points is rise over run. So you can see lowercase m equals rise over run. And it's the subtraction of our y values divided by the subtraction of our x values. And so I want to show you just how easy this formula is. I always start by going to my points and labeling them. So remember, all our points are x comma y, so that's an x, and then I call that x1, and then I call the second one y1, and then over here x2, and then y2. So it allows me to see where exactly I'm going to fill this in into my formula. So it starts with y2 minus y1. So y2, that number was 12. I'm going to go 12 minus, we can see the minus in our formula, y1. And y1 over here, I'm going back to my first point, that was y1. That is 6 over x2. So my x2 is 4 minus my x1, which is 2. And we have this fraction that we can work out and simplify. 12 minus 6 is 6. And 4 minus 2 is 2, which means I have a slope of 3. Okay, let's try this again with another example and see how we do. So what if I gave you these 2 points down here, C and D? Could you find your slope without having to plot your points, draw your line, draw your triangle? Can instead you use your formula? I'm going to try. Feel free to pause and give it a try on your own, and then come back and start the video up again. I'm going to actually begin by stating x1, y1, and x2, x2, y2. So I know where that goes in my formula. I start with my y2, which is 2, and then I have a minus sign, and y1, which is 8 over 1 minus 5. Okay, and let's see what that simplifies to. We got 2 minus 8, which is negative 6. And I have 1 minus 5, which is negative 4. 2 negatives, of course, make a positive. So this is the same as 6 over 4. And of course, I can reduce that fraction down to 3 over 2. Now we leave our slopes as fractions, rise over run. We don't change them into a decimal. It's not necessary. It'll actually help us when it comes to some graphing of some lines that we're going to do later on in the next unit. So leave it just as 3 over 2. All right, let's just try a couple more and see how we do. So again, you'll be given 2 points. You have your formula. So here's the formula. Start by labeling your points. So x1, y1, x2, y2, and then from there put it in your formula. So for the first one, I would have 10 minus 5 over 4 minus 2, which is 5 over 2. And that doesn't reduce down at all, so I can leave that as 5 over 2. It's positive, so I know that that's a line that's going up to the right. I guess that's a good thing to know. Oops, lots of negatives in this one. So let's see how we do here. We want to make sure that we follow our formula. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so y2 is negative 9 minus y1, which is a negative 1. Okay, so don't lose that other negative. That's a negative 1. And then on the bottom, I have negative 6. That's my x2 minus my x1, which is 3. All right, 9 minus negative 1 is going to be negative 8. And negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. And of course, 2 negatives when we're dividing make a positive. So I have a slope of 8/9. That's all there is to finding slope if you're given 2 points. Remember, you can always graph it, always draw the line and then the triangle, but our slope formula really kind of makes it a little bit quicker if you can just plug it into the proper spots and evaluate it out. Perfect. Remember, if you have any questions at all, always email your teacher. They're there to help you. Thanks.